The return of Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer, Turner Sports NBA analyst, and he was working in the Garden when the Heat came in and stole the Eastern Conference Finals. What was it like pregame? What was your thought pregame with that atmosphere in the Garden?
It was absolutely electrifying in the Garden. They had perhaps maybe the best hype tape I had ever seen before. The crowd was jacked. They had a mixture of video of the Red Sox. I believe that was that
04?
04 when they came back from 3-0 versus the Yankees. So they had that spliced in with a lot of game footage and post-game interviews of Game 6. And I'm here to tell you that crowd was absolutely pumped. The atmosphere was there. And then 20 seconds into the game, the balloon somewhat popped because, and I said this on air, and you know this very well, your stars set the tone. They set the tone in the first quarter of how we're going to play. Are we going to be aggressive? I'm going to go after that. And sometimes that can have a negative effect as well. When Tatum went down with the ankle injury and he didn't pop up quickly enough, and you could see on his face that he had rolled it pretty well, to me, that set the tone of how the Celtics were going to play. Again, it's just a feeling I have, a gut feeling, having been in that situation when we were in the conference finals versus Chicago and I had a twisted ankle playing against Jordan and the Bulls, and you're not 100%, your guys feed off of that. I felt his teammates fed off of that, and they played like that.
Before we get to the matchup, you mentioned the matchup against Jordan and the Bulls. What did you make of Scottie Pippen's comments that Mike, when he first got into the league, was a horrible basketball player?
I think it's more word choice that we're focusing in on here. The word horrible. No, he wasn't horrible because he was a top 3 player at the time. He was an all-NBA player. He was electrifying. Horrible means he couldn't, is like a role player. I think, and to Scottie's point and what he's trying to say is, Mike didn't start winning and playing team basketball until I got on the team. I think, again, people want to play, look, we know there's an ongoing, do we want to call it a feud between?
It feels, well, there is on Scottie's side. It feels like.
Yeah, on Scottie's side. Look, Michael says, look, I didn't win until Scottie got here. Michael, he has said that plenty of times. I think for whatever reason, that whole Last Dance documentary really has been a trigger for Pippen. And I think it was just poor word choice in saying horrible because he wasn't horrible. But he is correct in he wasn't playing a brand of team basketball that was winning basketball until Pippen got there. That is true. But horrible, not so much.
But you know what? When we talk about great teams of all time, it's usually Shaq and Kobe's Lakers. Or it might be the big 3 with, Bird and McHale and Parrish. Drexler, Olajuwon when they were together. Magic and Kareem. We don't say Jordan and Pippen.
Yeah, we do.
No, we say Jordan's Bulls.
No. We say the 6-peat, the 2-3-peats, and you do say Jordan and Pippen. You just don't say Jordan because, again,
I think the public does, Reg. Mike was too big. It's Jordan's Bulls.
Okay, basketball purists say Jordan, Pippen. The casual fan will say Jordan.
Yes.
Fair enough?
Yeah, and I wonder about that with Scottie, that, it feels like he is still crying out for, somebody to hug him and just say, you were great.
Exactly it.
Right?
That's exactly it. Don't forget me, guys. I'm over here. Yeah. I was a part of it. I mean, Steve Kerr, Horace Grant, they all can almost say the same thing. You don't hear Dennis Rodman saying anything like this. Again, I think Mike and Scottie need to get into a room and hash out whatever this difference is between them, because Chicago and that run of 6 championships, I don't know if that'll ever be done again. And those 2 guys are central figures of why the Bulls are viewed as one of the greatest franchises of all time.
Yeah, but you're not going to get them in the same room. You got Scottie's ex with Michael's son. I mean,
now you're muddying up the water.
no, I'm
now.
just
No,
telling you,
you're
they muddied up the water. They muddied. I didn't. I just noticed the color of the water.
Look, I'm not going to get into people's personal business.
Okay. All right.
We're talking X's and O's.
Yes, we
here.
are. No, it's Scottie's ex. And Reggie Miller.
Right.
X's and O-Nos. I think that's what it is. We're talking to Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer. I mentioned, with no disrespect to Joker, but he's not exciting to watch. He's unbelievably great, great player. But, the casual basketball fan, will they tune into the NBA Finals?
Yeah, probably not. The casual fan, no. Not unless probably after games 3 or 4. If it's, 2-2 and interest starts to build. But, again, Denver, Miami, it's not sexy. But, again, the basketball purists like you and myself, I want to see Joker play. I love what he does on the floor and for his teammates. Same with Jimmy Butler. The warrior mentality, the underdog, the 8 seed. I mean, think about it. They beat a 1, they beat a 2, and they beat a 5 seed. That's unbelievable. So, yeah, there's storylines there, but it's not LeBron. It's not KD. It's not the Boston Celtics. So, yeah, your casual fan probably won't tune in until it matters or means something. But I think your basketball purists who love the game of basketball obviously will tune in.
All right. What do you do with Jaylen Brown if you're the Celtics?
You've got to re-sign him. Look, you've got 2 young players, 26 and 25, that are just coming into their own. And you can't lose him for nothing. I'm sure you can get a sign and trade, but you've got to find a way. You got to open up the piggy bank. And to me, Tatum and Brown were arguably one of the greatest duos in our games today. You've got KD and Booker. You can put LeBron and AD in there if you want. Luka and Kyrie, if they happen to stay together. But certainly Tatum and Brown, to me, is one of the better duos in our game. Young duos, too. Let them grow together. And here's the thing. They've been in the finals before. They just got beat in Game 7 of the conference. This is a team that's tested, right? They're that close to break it up now, to have a knee-jerk reaction to this season. No, I open up the piggy bank and sign that man.
Do you want to tie up $500 million in 2 players who play a similar style?
I would, and I would build around that. Again, it's one game. If they win Game 7, are we really talking about should we, re-sign him? No, it would have been back-to-back trips to the finals. 2 young players. I do it. I really do.
It's a lot of money, and
not only are they 2 two-way players too. They both play defense as well. Yeah. It's hard to come by. You need length in this game. And they're 6'7", 6'8", long. They both can score. They both can defend, Theodore. Yeah, I do it.
Okay, explain this logic to me. That you shoot the 3. Now you're down by double digits. You keep shooting the 3 to try to come back, and you're not making – they were 7 for 40 from three-point range before they made their last 2. Can't we get to the free throw line? Can't we take it to the hoop? What's wrong with the 2? Can I get something that gives us a little bit of confidence instead of jacking up 3s?
That was their problem all postseason, in my opinion, for Boston. But that's how they played all year. I think what was lost is they were a top 10 defensive team and a top 10 offensive team. Come postseason, they left their defense in the regular season and became just – it was all about shooting 3s and we're going to outscore you, and they lost their defensive identity. To me, that was in a nutshell the downfall for the Celtics. They lost their defensive. What got them here? What made them so great last year? To me, they were a much better team defensively because this season they let their offense dictate how they played. If they weren't shooting the three well, as we saw in a lot of games in the conference finals, it affected their defense, and they couldn't recover from that. And how they played in Game 6, if they had played the whole postseason like that, they'd have won a championship. That's how the Celtics were supposed to play, because as bad as they shot from three in Game 6 in Miami and found a way to win that ball game, on the defensive end, if they would have played like anywhere near that in Game 7, they would have beat Miami.
More likely to have a sweep or a 7-game series in the finals?
I don't think it's going to be – it won't be a sweep, but it won't be a 7-game series either. I can make a case for both teams because no one wanted to talk about how good Denver and Jokic was. They're the most balanced, well-rounded, well-coached, and Coach Malone, the deeper team. But we also said that about Milwaukee. We also said that about Boston. And what did Miami do? They ran right through them. Well, not ran, because they did go 7 games with Boston, but they were up 3-0 and then got chased down and then had to win on the road in Game 7. And something special is brewing. The only reservation I have with Miami is, will they have enough bodies? Again, I know Hero is targeting Game 3 or 4 possibly, so you're going to get a 20-point scorer back. But how effective will he be, having been off 6 weeks or so? Do they have enough bodies? But the emergence of Caleb Martin throws kind of a wrinkle in this a little bit. How he has played, especially in the conference finals, that's why I think something special could be happening in South Florida. I really do. It's not like Denver's been – this is the first trip to the NBA Finals for Denver. They're a little green.
Are you calling it? Are you hinting or are you calling it?
I'm calling it. I'm going to go out on a limb here. If Jimmy Butler can play like he played in Game 2 and 7 consistently, he doesn't always have to have huge games, but dictate and control the pace of the offense and how they perform defensively. Yes, Theodore. I'm going to say Miami and 6.
Okay. All right. By the way, I saw where Jeff Bezos is renting a house in Malibu. Kenny G's – is Kenny G – does he live close to you?
Jeff. Oh, what did you say about Jeff? They're just –
Yeah. Does Kenny G live –
Yeah, we're all on the same block here. So
you live by Kenny G.
Malibu is so small. We all live by one another.
Okay, are you the most famous person on your street?
Yes. But within ear distance, I'm a nobody to a few people. But on this particular block,
give me one in the area. You don't have to give any address, but just in the area, who's more famous than you?
More famous?
Yeah.
Someone just bought a $120 million home right down the street, and all the single ladies, and
Wait, I thought they bought a $200 million home.
Oh, was it $200 million? Then I shortchanged them by saying
yes, and they paid.
I apologize,
cash.
Beehive. I apologize. I got to give you your due.
Jay-Z.
So yes, they're right down the street.
Yes, Seton.
I have here just a couple years ago, a Canadian billionaire bought a $120 million Malibu mansion, and that had set all kinds of records. But I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce just broke that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're neighbors. They're almost side by side, those two properties.
But you don't go like trick-or-treating over there.
When I need a cup of sugar, I'm headed right down there.
No.
Yes, I am.
Jay-Z is not letting you on. No, he's
not. I need some sugar, Ho.
What, Paul?
Yeah, the house Jay-Z and Beyonce bought in Malibu, 30,000 square feet, Reg, price of $200 million. That's a record for Malibu. 177 was the record.
Well, all I gotta say is thank you, because property values
Yes.
now, my property value is cha-ching, so
Yeah.
thank you.
And then Jeff Bezos is renting Kenny G's property $600,000 a month.
What?
Yes. Yes.
It's good to be back in Malibu.
You know what? You should have rented it out. You could have rented out the crib and then, you know.
When the kids get older, maybe. When the kids get older, maybe, yeah.
Is Mark Jackson does he have to apologize on the air to start out game one for not voting for Joker in his top 5 for MVP?
I think he's already done that because he had them in the Western Conference Finals versus the Lakers.
Okay.
So I'm sure he heard it from the Denver Nuggets faithful. I talked to Mark. He says, look, it was a mishap because he was thinking about all NBA team because he was going to put Joel Embiid on the first team because he was going to be his MVP. So he was filling out what he assumed to be the all NBA team. And that's why Joker was so low on his MVP voting thing.
Do you think it bothers Joker? Is it
No, not at all. Not at all.
To be a three-peat as MVP would not matter to him?
I'm sure it would have mattered to him, but
I mean, that puts him in there with a couple of guys.
You're basing this conversation off what you saw in the postseason from Embiid. Because Embiid, during the regular season, don't you think he deserved the MVP or was in the running or no?
Oh, no, he's in the running, but he didn't deserve it. I think that
You're basing this right now knowing that Denver's in the finals and Joel Embiid is in the Bahamas right now. You're basing that a little bit off that.
Well, no, I said it at the end of the year that it changed when Kendrick Perkins talked about the makeup of the voters, and it changed because, you know, the betting favorite was Joker. Joker was going to win the MVP, and then it changed with a couple of weeks left, and Embiid played great. That, you know, the last couple of weeks he played great, but Joker didn't do anything to lose. He did not. Yes, Denver didn't play great. Yes, absolutely. I think it cost him the MVP. But I said, you know how this works? Sometimes it's your turn. The media decides it's your turn. It's Karl Malone's turn. It's Charles Barkley's turn, right?
Right. But if you ask the Joker, the MVP that he really wants is still in front of him. That's the most important MVP. And if they play, and if he plays like he did versus the Lakers, then he will have that third MVP. It just will become finals MVP, and that's the only MVP any of these players ever want.
By the way, I'm not up on Jay-Z lyrics, but I know LeBron sent out a cryptic Jay-Z lyric about something about being number one, but what about when I'm not here anymore, or something like that.
I didn't see it.
Okay. What is going on with LeBron?
He's not going anywhere. Come on. He's owed 2 years, one at 47 and one at 49, 50. That was emotion talking right there. That was.
Yeah, but that's this just happened that he put out some cryptic.
He is not going anywhere. He just wants some leverage to have Rob Pelinka tweak that roster a little bit. Maybe, I know Kyrie's being floated out there. I'm not sure that's the answer, but he wants control. Still wants that control.
Yeah, but why would he lose control just because he got swept? All of a sudden they're going to go, no, LeBron, you don't get to have any control here. He's still in charge.
Yeah, well, he's not going anywhere, people. He's not walking away from.
Have you been to LeBron's house?
I have not.
Taco Tuesday?
Nor have I ever been asked.
Oh, okay. The biggest house you've been to? What?
Why are we getting into big houses? Who cares?
I do.
It's just material objects. That's all. You cannot take any of this to the grave.
I know.
I'm happy. Who cares how big someone's house is?
Give me the most impressive house you've been in. Come on.
I was probably say back in the day, my Indiana days, our owner, Herb Simon, had an impressive spread out there in Carmel, Indiana.
All right, but that doesn't count.
Oh, see, here you want the glitz and the glam. Here you go. I told you.
You can't be a baller. You can't be a baller in Indiana. Come on.
Why not?
Come on.
You get a nice spread.
I know you can.
Get a lot of land in Indiana. Now, is it 30,000 square feet like home and Bay? No. But it's nice.
He's Reggie Aloysius Miller Jr. III, and he's picking the Miami Heat in 6.
I am. Something special brewing.
And you're a Bruin, and you got a red shirt on there.
Not that I did it for the Heat.
Miami Heat. Oh, okay. And once again, it's X's and O no's. Just let you know.
See,
remember.
muddying up the water.
No, not my bad. My bad.
Go.
I know. I should have stopped. Great to talk to you.
Come on now, Pip.
Thank you.
Come on, but it's not horrible, Pip.
That's Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer.
Love you,
Thank you, Reg.